Born the neglected son of an illiterate farm worker, it seemed that Newton's destiny was one of hard physical labour in a world of ignorance. By the end of his strange life, the light of his intellect had started to transform the world. Writing for himself alone, Newton shunned company and friendships, neglected his health, and quarrelled bitterly with great men of his age, and more than once stood on the brink of madness. Yet his discoveries, the fundamental mechanics of the universe, are the foundations of our modern world, our lives, language, and thinking. Isaac Newton said he had seen further by standing on the shoulders of giants, but he did not believe it. He was born into a world of darkness, obscurity, and magic, led a strangely pure and obsessive life, lacking parents, lovers, and friends, quarrelled bitterly with great men who crossed his path, veered at least once to the brink of madness, cloaked his work in secrecy, and yet discovered more of the essential core of human knowledge than anyone before or after. He was a chief architect of the modern world. He answered the ancient philosophical riddles of light and motion, and he effectively discovered gravity. He made knowledge a thing of substance, quantitative and exact. He established principles, and they are called his laws. Solitude was an essential part of his genius. As a youth, he assimilated or rediscovered most of the mathematics known to humankind, and then invented calculus, the machinery by which the modern world understands change and flow, but kept this treasure to himself. He embraced his isolation through his productive years, devoting himself to the most secret of sciences, alchemy. He feared the light of exposure, shrank from criticism and controversy, and seldom published his work at all. Striving to decipher the riddles of the universe, he emulated the complex secrecy in which he saw them encoded. He stood aloof from other philosophers even after becoming a national icon. Born in a remote country village, the son of an illiterate farmer, he lived in an island nation and explained how the moon and sun tug at the seas to create tides, but he probably never set eyes on the ocean. What Newton learned remains the essence of what we know, as if by our own intuition. Newton's laws are our laws. We are Newtonians when we speak of forces and masses, of action and reaction, when we say that a sports team or political candidate has momentum, and when we stretch out an arm and feel the force of gravity all around. Pre-Newtonians did not feel such a force. Before Newton, the English word gravity denoted a mood, seriousness and solemnity. Objects could have heaviness or lightness, and the heavy ones tended downward where they belonged. Creation, Newton saw, unfolds from simple rules, patterns iterated of unlimited distances. So we seek mathematical laws for economic cycles and human behaviour. We deem the universe solvable. He dipped his quill and wrote a minuscule Latin script, crowding the words edge to edge. The common people conceive those quantities under no other notions but from the relation they bear to sensible objects, and thence arise certain prejudices. By then he had written more than 1 million words and published almost none. He wrote for himself, careless of food and sleep. He wrote to calculate, laying down numbers in spidery lines and broad columns. He computed as most people daydream. The flow of his thought slipped back and forth between English and Latin. He wrote to read, copying out books and manuscripts, sometimes the same text again and again. More determined than joyful, he wrote to reason, to meditate, and to occupy his mind. He pushed open a door that led to a new universe, set in absolute time and space. at once measureless and measurable, furnished with science and machines, ruled by industry and natural law.